live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with Comminty Kevin brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Comminty Kevin. Today's guest, Imani Black, founder, Minorities in Aquaculture.
Good morning. We are on the remote. We're on the boat today for the podcast. Today we have a guest, somebody that I met in Washington, D.C. when we were going coast to coast doing the most. Imani Black with Minorities in Aquaculture took over the stage when they did her panel presentation. And a lot of the similarities and stuff we talked about. She's a nonprofit. She takes interns. She has them all over the country. She has a lot of stuff. I'm gonna let her tell you more about what it is. But when I heard her talk up there about commercial fishing and that passion that she had in nonprofit and leaky buckets, and I stole some of her terminology already and used it already for a donor that worked.
You're welcome.
That's right. Appreciate that. And then when she was in a meeting, or kind of, at the end we had a reception. At the end of the day, she was talking to people, and I decided to bombard the conversation, the convo, to get her business card before I left, because I had to take off to go walk around DC because I was limited on time. But I wanted to make sure I met you.
Yeah.
You just seem like you're on fire, what you're doing, and making sense. So, go ahead and tell them what it is you do, or what your vision, your mission. It's just conversation. We don't script anything, so we're just going to go off that, okay?
Yeah. No, well, thanks so much for having me, one. This is surreal to be here right now. Meeting you at that reception was really great. It really was one of those moments that stood out to me. Because I was trying to get my business on, and I got this guy coming in like, hey, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt your conversation. And I'm really glad that you did. So, Minorities in Aquaculture is something that, I got started back in 2020, from Maryland, the Eastern Shore of Maryland, so coastal community. But, I worked as a commercial oyster farmer for about 7 years before 2020. And I just saw a lot of gaps, a lot of holes in the workforce development, kind of like you in fishing, especially commercial aquaculture. Seafood is one of the kind of biggest industries in our world, and there's a lot of ways that we can have different businesses, different careers. So I'm just trying to put on, the minorities of the industry. So not just Black and brown people, but women, gender minorities. So kind of everybody. There's a place for everybody. There's a place for all the skills that we need.
Oceans of opportunity. That's what we call our thing, oceans of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, somebody, Melody, one of our marketing, our first marketing department, Kimball Marketing, put that together. Oceans of opportunity, Kev. You go into these schools and you teach what you're doing, and I was like, forget all that nonsense. What I need you to do is focus on getting me sponsors for the TV show,
Right.
And she had that Oceans of opportunity, so we opened that up. But a lot of stuff that you're doing that we love to do is the same thing. I'm going to navigate her that way. Let's press that way just a little bit more.
Yeah, you got
So right now we are on the boat. Right now we got an intern driving the boat. What's her name again? Barra's driving the boat. And again, hey, we just push them right in and let them problem solve, right? So actually, you can probably turn it off right here. It's fine. Oh, so just pull this back. Okay. This is real TV, folks. This is real radio. That's right. Keeping it real. And Kevin Jr. and them will get you guys set up to do a little fishing back there while we keep our little conversation going. You can show them, Scotty, show them what's going on back there. That's right. Interns and staff. And stuff you're talking about, those things that you mean as far as career pathways. And that's one of the things we focus on going into the future, pioneering some stuff, collaborative efforts. Nonprofit has changed. Look at all that action. You getting that?
Yes,
woo! Keeping it real. But again, just opening that for people to make a career pathway on the ocean. We call it the blue economy out here. Is that what you guys call it? The blue economy as well?
Blue economy, yeah.
So what made you want to say, this is what I want to do? You gave us a little bit off air of getting it. You sat at your table and wrote it out and what you wanted to do. Is it because you've seen the shortcomings on certain areas, or not the fair treatment of what you said over there in the book I read, it was about the knowledgeable worker, and you have the knowledgeable worker that was working on the field, but you don't get compensated for the knowledgeable worker, but they want you to do all of it, but you're just as capable of running the whole show. So it was a way that you worked in that environment and seeing things changing in aquaculture that made you want to like zone in on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, just working with a lot of like really hardworking Hispanic men, Hispanic women, you know, African American men, you know, that were in those labor roles, that were, you know, just helping on the farms or helping in the hatcheries. You know, they were really intelligent. They, you know, picked up on things super quickly, but they weren't really getting explained on like why we were doing stuff, right? Like the education, the knowledge of it. It was just like, you're doing this because of this, and this is the job. And a lot of the owners, a lot of the managers were going straight to them every morning and saying, okay, what do you think we should do today to, like, you know, for the to-do list and everything. And so, yeah, but then they weren't getting paid and compensated.
Keep going.
They weren't getting paid and compensated. And so, yeah, I just kind of saw a lot of those disparities, a lot of kind of that keeping them at bay, keeping them in those labor roles when they could be owners, they could be managers.
Ownership.
And, yeah, they didn't have any ownership. And so, yeah, I think it was a lot of that. And it was a lot of just me wanting to just create something, a community, and just find other people that were doing what I was doing. And then over the last 5 years, just sort of been all the different experiences that I went through, all the different hardships that I went through in the first 7 years of my career. They've kind of come back full circle, and I've realized that the universe put me through those so that I could have these conversations with our interns and with our partners and stuff, and just have the kind of the real world perspective now to be able to make change.
See why I have her on? I can tell when she was up there for that hour. So I'm gonna be real. Guess who didn't see my presentation?
I did it. I did it. But it's fine because we had a.
So Scotty intercepted it, and he cut it up into a little segment, so you can watch it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, you can send it to me. Definitely.
Check it out. I just wanted to pull this in a little closer. I felt like that breeze was off that corner right there, and we were rocking, so I wanted to pull this up a little tighter to the break wall for this right here.
Yeah.
Oh, can you have the tackle box over there? It's in that. Yeah. We're going to put them up on some fish right now. Got Derek and Kevin in the back. We're going to set up the sabikis and get them going to catch a California fish as we keep talking about this. But yeah, so you can hear a lot of the same similarities, right? One of the things we teach at Oceans of Opportunity, last night our Series 3 started, is career pathways, but also ownership and entrepreneurship. How do you own it? Like, hey, look, even when I go into schools and you want to be a mechanic or a painter, a lot of these schools have ROPs for painting. And imagine if you had a garage, but it had your name on it. You weren't just painting for somebody for 20, 30 years. And how do you get the resources? So like when we do the financial literacy part, how do you start investing your money or putting your money up to spend, not just saving money for when your tire pops or a bad thing, but money that you have your own capital, or how you get, like you're talking about insurances and stuff. And how do you get that? That there are these people and knowledgeable workers in other industries that can help come along you to help you build that as well. So you're building your knowledge and your skill set, and you have these resources to help you fine tune it. Yeah. And I like your idea that you said you just you sat at your table and went in for it. So I know that when you have that philosophy of what you did, I'm sure that's exactly what you're teaching your interns, right? You don't have to have everything ready. You don't have to know everything. Yeah. Just pencil something out. Yeah, just do it. I think that passion can take you a long way, but I think you have to harness that passion into, you know, passion doesn't pay the bills. And so you gotta harness it in a way where like there's longevity to it. And yeah, I had a lot of good conversations in the beginning of MIA, because I had no idea how to start a nonprofit. I Googled that, like I was telling you off air. That's what I had to do. You had to get some articles in incorporation. 3 of my friends as board members, some bylaws, ship to the state. So yeah, I think a lot of, you know, the saying where like, you know, the best ideas are in the graveyard. And I think that that's totally true, because people have it up here, but it's like we get in our own way. Society gets in our way, and just who we think that we are in society. Do you teach that? We talked about like mind strength, right? Because you could psych yourself out. So we have this term, like with Spencer that was here, psych yourself up, don't psych yourself out. Because you could psych yourself out and tell yourself you can't do these things. I listen to Les Brown. You ever heard of Les Brown, the speaker? He's the one that talks about that in the graveyard, right? Like all those dreams that are buried with you inside your in the graveyard. So and sometimes it does. For myself, somebody to maybe come along and see something in you and say, hey, I think you can do this, right? And then that kind of gives you that first confidence, and then repaying that back to other people to help them build their confidence. Yeah, no, I had a lot of mentors. I had a few mentors that kind of saw something in me when I was, you know, a punk like 20-year-old and just like all over the place and just like really chaotic. And
they saw something in me before I saw something in myself, and
Similar
so
here.
and so I think like I hope to do that with all the people.
We got to take out words like trying and hoping. Okay, you're succeeding, you're doing it. All right. Let me break you off a little.
There you go.
Confidence.
There
you got
you
two
go.
people with you here today. You was on a panel in DC. You're doing more than trying. Okay?
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Right.
I appreciate that. I feel like what
You're
is
executing.
like, what I feel like it is like I want to continue to execute, right? Like I don't want it to just be for a year or this year. I want it to be something that, like I said, has.
I think you'll be into the next couple decades, man. The way you're set up and the way it's going to move with funding and pioneering some of the stuff is that we're going to be on the top. The name of the conference we went to was called The Next Wave, and there is this next wave, and I think it's going to be for a couple of decades of the investing of the funds, the ideas, whether it's medicine, robotics, aquaculture, bringing commerce out here. That was a lot of what your panel was, of how much money we might be spending across the seas on seafood that we could buy Gulf shrimp in the Gulf versus getting them somewhere else. So I think the model's changing, and as long as we're there, then the next people that come along, people that we mentor now, are going to sweep us off. Or the same thing, we're discipling, right? So that way in 20 years, somebody that came through your program is on the top, and they're branding out. You're continuing to build that pipeline for not temporarily, but for the long term.
And that's the goal, right? There's a couple different sectors. But I think
they're fishing.
I know, right?
I'm gonna get a picture of that, all right? Go ahead, though.
There's
a lot going on out here, folks.
My ADHD is going crazy right now. I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do with my hands. I just think there's a lot of different sectors that, especially in aquaculture, where a lot of people are aging out. We've got a lot of dock workers. We've got a lot of business owners that are, trying to retire with no younger person coming behind them.
That's a lot. It's going on a lot right now.
Yeah, it's going over everywhere, especially in coastal communities. And so if we can get people that can take over those businesses and be that next person for the next 30 years, but then also too, like even in government, like we were talking about regulations and stuff, and even though like the government sector, they try, there's a lot of people that, are doing policies and regulations that have never been on a boat, that have never done this.
That's not new though.
Ever. That's not new, but I'm hoping we're going to change that, because we've got interns that want to get into government, that want to go to Capitol Hill, they want to do all that, and I say that's great.
We call it guppytizing them. So whatever you're doing, you're I don't know how to use your MIA, right? But that's what you're doing, right? Because I think in the industry that you're in, that we're in, if we don't have those sensible players, and that's something that you talked about at the table that we want to do, is filming, right? If a fisherman's out on the water, he doesn't have time or the resources to make a film and plead a case and have the right representation to go in front of government and articulate what he's trying to do. He's like, you guys are freaking crazy. You're killing my industry. And that's what we did in recreation. So if you have these specialists that go on their behalf, or somebody come out and film it and document it to showcase the work they're doing, then that's by us collaborating, because we can't do it all, right? So if you have these new people with new ideas, want to have sustainable practices, bring in commerce, but you got all the stakeholders at the table versus the scientist alone, or these people like edging everybody out. And by putting the boots on the ground, you'll have representation to go in there on that behalf. I think is important.
Definitely. But also, when they get, hopefully,
sorry, I got excited right there.
No, it's fine. Like, when they, in the future, when they get to, that big office, when they are a senator, are a part of regulations and all that, they'll remember when they got their butt kicked on the oyster farm that summer, and that'll change their perspective of like, whoa, I don't think that this process is going to work, because I remember when I worked on the farm, and just the hands-on experience. The perspective can only change by your experiences. It can't change by knowledge like you reading in a book.
I think it's the perspective of being it, but also opening it up to innovative new ways. My mom went from using a typewriter to computer when people are aging out. Some of this technology scares people, right? You have this new technology and they don't want to learn to do it. So these youngers that are coming in know how to do it like little wizards too, So giving them that space where they could showcase their talent during this technology boom that we're having, right? We went from an industrial revolution. Now we have like a technical thing that's growing. And some people are backing out and aging out after the pandemic. But that does give them, there was a guy that was, that did DreamWorks. He went to Disney with this new animation, and the old artist got together and had him fired because they were afraid that his new artistic way was going to shatter their pencil drawing. And then here he comes again, partners with Disney. I love documentary films. That's why I do it. But when he brought this new idea of doing animation this way, they were so rickety and scared of the new way that they had him fired. So, you got to make, what was that famous speech by Bill, not Bill Gates, the dude from from Apple. What's his name? Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
We got to make way for the new, you know? And right now we're in that era. That's why we're on the new wave, right?
There you go.
But also opening up for our minorities that we could do more than just be the helpers or the aid, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be assistant pimp. That from that movie, right?
Exactly.
I want to have my own block. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the Look at the shots. Got to get that. Look at the pelicans coming.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
I told you there's wild moments with the guppies.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, that's awesome.
Pterodactyls.
Pterodactyls.
That's how we do it out here on the real radio, on the water. So what do you see? You were out here recently on a panel in Santa Barbara, right? With Jason Wood and some other folks. I tried to get there, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
What do you see like going on? Like, tell people what aquaculture might be that might not understand what aquaculture is, because I'm still kind of new to it as well. So break down what aquaculture is.
Yeah. So the like most simplest term, or the way that I try to relate it, right? Because we all know agriculture. We know how we get our produce and our cattle and all that other stuff on land. It's just the same thing in the water. We do that same sort of practice, same sort of cultivation, but just with our seafood. So yeah, like all of our shellfish, so oysters, mussels, clams, scallops, finfish.
So it's not just, I think aquaculture, I think like seaweed and stuff.
No, it's all so by 2030 all of our
Sorry, I'm driving the boat too, making sure we stay out of harm's way in the middle of this, you know?
By 2030 all of our seafood is going to come from aquaculture. I mean, we already import 95% of our seafood into the United States.
Hear that?
50 to 75% of that is farmed, whether you know it or not. So that frozen seafood or frozen fish you get from the grocery store, if you look at the label, it's probably farmed from somewhere and it's probably being shipped into here. Even if it says locally caught, unless you look at the label and it says exactly where it's coming from and it is local to you, it's probably not local. We've had a lot of that happen, a lot of shrimp gate, a lot of just, you know, consumers want to know where their seafood's coming from, and right now aquaculture we're trying to have that transparency.
So if you don't come out and catch it like we do and buy it, and that's one of the things we showcase on our show is how if you you could purchase seafood and cook it. So we do a little thing called grilling and chilling. We do a little cooking segments.
Nice.
So I might cook with some of the stuff that I catch, but I'll show you that don't let seafood scare you or only eat it when you go to a restaurant, right? Or just eat salmon, right? Like there's these other ways that you can do it. So our thing is do your taste buds a favor and play with your food.
Yeah.
And we show you these ways to do it. Me and Scotty did a podcast over at an olive oil store up in Ventura. So we brought the olive oil back and made some little fish packets, like little tacos. And
cool.
You got a spider right here. I'll save you though, look.
Oh my God.
Me and Scotty come from the pest control industry. We're not afraid of pests, right, Scotty? There you go.
That little guy.
Yeah, that's the little guy.
Anyway, I get a call back for that. Oh my God, Kevin, I see a spider. Get out of here right now. Hurry up. Just like, get the chocolate. Leave it alone. So aquaculture, right? So what do you see in California? What were you doing up in Santa Barbara? I know there's some areas up there. They're doing some presentations about growing some, I think, kelp forest up there for and stuff like that. Is that what you're out here for? Or?
Yeah. So we've been doing this is actually our 6th, 7th day in California. We started up in Monterey Bay. They're doing sea star aquaculture for restorations and not for food. They're doing urchins as well, and putting them back on to the kelp forest to get some of those like keystone species, those really important species back into our environment. So we've got some interns working up there with Sunflower Star Lab. Check them out.
I got to check that out. I love the starfish.
Yeah, they're doing really awesome stuff. And then we ventured down to Morro Bay. So Grassy Bar Oyster Company is where 2 of our other interns are working. So
you guys get to sample them? You like, let's
we're
good?
We were shucking right there on the farm. Yeah, we were out there.
Did you wear your chucks? Were you shucking in chucks? Or I would, my all blue chucks and my shirt.
No, we were out there. We were working.
Let me see.
We were doing all the things. Oh, is that some giant kelp right there?
Yeah, a little bit of kelp. I'm gonna help her. Go ahead, keep talking though. What else you got going to California?
So we were just we were at an oyster
and then look what you want
oyster
to do.
company there in Morro Bay and just working out there. But and then now we're down here and we're here with Comminty Kev. That was a part of our field trip. But I do these field trips all over the country with our interns.
That's the stuff I want to check out, right? Because we have our interns here. The same thing we're doing. I need to figure out how to travel from state to state with some of my interns. You got to put me on game on that.
I got you.
We want to do it at that level. But everything you're saying, man, hits home. I have a question. Does any of that zoning or anything, does that affect recreational fishing? Does it like push us off, or there's certain areas where they're cultivating, they're doing that are right now maybe land for that we use for fishing? Is there a conflict for we're going to be battling it out in the future?
We're trying not to have that battling, right? Like, I think that there is room for everyone to do both. The great thing about aquaculture is that there's leases. So there's just like these leases that you can have where like that's where you're cultivating the food. But the great thing is that for the recreational fishermen, it brings all that habitat back in.
Well, that's what we were saying, because I seen a guy do a presentation. I'm on the SAC board for the Sanctuary Council, Advisory Council, and they did a couple presentations, and that was he was showcasing that, because again, that's what we teach a lot, ecosystem and habitat, and that's what it does. So you said that's good to know. Just wondering that, because I know sometimes they'll try to pin us against each other. You know, us versus them. But so is this aquaculture? Even though you're doing it that way, it's seafood, so it's not considered fishing still. Like, so let's say you're in the fishing industry, and you said, okay, maybe it's not as lucrative again because of the policies and the season closures. Maybe I'll transfer into aquaculture, right? A lot of is there transferable as being on a boat or a captain, you know?
No, so it's just like being a commercial fisherman, but it's different, right? It's a more controlled environment. We've got controlled can be, right? Mother Nature is Mother Nature, but we're
speaking of Mother Nature, she's pushing us away from the rocks. I'm pulling us back over there, okay?
So we've got the cages, we've got the leases, all that stuff, but like we still have to deal with all the things that a commercial fisherman has to do, other than we don't have to change catch every single season. So like if this season is this species, this season is this species, but for us it's like we can do oysters all year round. We can if you have a fish farm, that's all year round, that type of thing. But yeah, there is a lot of fishermen, a lot of watermen where I'm from on the East Coast that, if like the crabs aren't running, they've got cages kind of off with oysters so that they can sell oysters. So it can be something that you can go back and forth. The skills are very transferable. The idea of doing it is very transferable. If you're adaptable, if you got a strong back, you can pull up cages. If you can be on the boat, if you do all the things, then you can do both.
And it's one of those occupations that you love, right? You got guys that do it till they're 60 or 70, like the man of the sea, being on the ocean, being on the water. There's a connection. There's a lot of conservation in that, right? Environmental stewardship that is built into your everyday job. That's really important. That just if the public understands that, because if you do say, oh, those fishermen are we're out here doing this and we're just taking from the ocean and things we're doing, it's like, but no, we have limits, and this is what we're catching and this is why, and we're restoring certain things, that there's a lot of working in harmony with the water that the people that work on the water understand and believe in, versus just profits.
Well, oysters we're just considered a double net positive. So eating them, you're a climate crusader. And also cultivating them and growing them, you're also bringing back a really strong filter feeder that, one oyster can filter 50 gallons of water a day. And on average, one oyster farmer puts out 1 million individual oysters in a year. Wow. So having 1 million oysters just cycling through just that in that one plot of land, and then you've got, a whole bay or a whole kind of channel filled with oyster farmers, like that's just like helping the environment while also putting out oysters on your dinner plate, doing all the things. And so the one thing I love about aquaculture is like we don't have to go out into like the wild population to get our food or to get like our species. It's something that we're putting more species back out into the water than we're taking out, and we just are cycling them through. So sustainable.
And then have you traveled to other countries or anywhere else where you see it's already being implemented that are far ahead of us in that arena, that are like a model that's already laid out? I've seen little snippets on videos and stuff of them doing it in some other countries. I don't know which ones, but I've seen it where they had the little farms. Do you do any of that study?
No, I feel like for the United States, for aquaculture, we're actually kind of like trying to play catch up. There's a lot of countries that have been doing it. Africa's been doing it, Scotland, New Zealand, Australia, just all these different places that kind of have already adopted or have already gotten into this rotation of really doing that public education, having their food source come right from their waters, and stay in their waters. Like I think that's the biggest thing. The reason why like when we have to build big ships, the reason why we go internationally is because we don't have the infrastructure here to do it. And so I think aquaculture right now, just the industry right now, we're trying to bring all of that back home, where like we catch it here, we process it here, we eat it here. And I think that's awesome.
That's what they were talking about on the panel that had me like perking on my ears, because okay, watch the treble hook, don't get Scotty in the back of the neck. Is that again the job pathways, but also the cool jobs, right? Like I don't want to work in a cubicle or in a warehouse again. Like, man, being outside and being outdoors and doing that fun type of work. Imagine the work that you don't think it's hard work. So that's one aspect. Again, the other aspect again is the economics that it does bring. You know, that we're sending that money other places that they can bring it here and come and get them into the table, man. So many cool parts and features, as she said. It was her and Bubba from the South that kind of took over it, you know. But you got your other. But there was another lady on the far end that was talking about that. And in our fishing, what I was telling you off air, the fishing industry, Tangle, is that you know, we had to make those cases to NOAA as well to say, hey, you know, for a hook and a weight and all the terminal tackle and fishing gear and the fuel, you know, all that stuff adds up to a certain amount of money and economics that we're spending to go catch our own fish. So that way we don't have to always go buy them either, right? So before I was like, let us catch our own, quit putting some restrictions so we can bring it home. And all these industries are making money, manufacturers and sport boats and all that stuff we talked about, right? So we try to bring the economic value of what fishing is. It's not just, you know, two Bubbas in a boat catching bass or something.
Exactly. You know? But I also think there's a lot of pride when you catch your fish or you know where it comes from. And there's a lot of
just move us back up.
There's a lot of just protection too that just comes from that. Like when you know how something's caught or how something's produced, or when you do it yourself and you have a long day on the boat, like you appreciate it a lot more than you ever would if you just went to the grocery store and got it. And also then you want to protect it. You know, I think a lot of people have this misconception that like if you eat seafood or that if you're a fisherman or a recreational fisherman, you don't care about the ocean, you don't care about the environment. And I feel like most of the people that I know that are in those occupations are actually some of the biggest climate crusaders that I know.
Yeah.
Like they understand, they've been out here, they're out here every day. They see the different changes. They wanted to stay around.
So you think it's you don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Oh God.
This is what we face. It's the scientists sometimes, the ones that go out and do the surveying, and the scientists are the ones that we're fighting against, right? Because they don't understand that we live in harmony with this and protect it. Because we know the cycles, we know the seasons, we know, their habits, right? It's woven into your fabric of being a fisherman or a farmer, right? And it's usually, that's why we understand environmentalism and we do our stewardship, but we're not extreme environmentalists, right? I think that's the part that we always have to make our case to say, look, right? And then those are the gatekeepers that are like, well, no, we see this is damaging that and this is damaging that. And it could be on a short-term survey or something, or where they're doing it at, or who they're inviting to come see the work that they're doing. Again, you don't have to answer that, but that's just
I'll answer that. The two interns know. I don't get me going on that. Don't get me going on that. I'm a scientist, but like I'm not a part of them.
That's why we call it guppytizing. You know what I mean? Like when you get that seat at the table, you have sensible conversation, right? And that's why us showcasing them that you're like, wait, maybe we're off a little bit here as a scientist. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the academia world that write a lot of papers but never been out here. Right. They got a lot of papers that are collecting dust on a shelf, and they've got the accolades, they've got all the this, that, and the third, and they're the experts, right? But like can't do anything conceptually, don't know anything other than the hypothetical. And when I got into grad school, like I said, I had been a commercial oyster farmer for 7 years before I went into grad school. So I didn't know that I was going to be the big bad wolf coming in, but you had the exposure, right? I had the exposure. It was like not, hypothetical for me. Like I actually could see and conceptualize like, no, this is not going to work. That's not going to work because of this, like the tide, the wind, whatever. And so, yeah, I had to kind of have those conversations with a lot of my classmates.
I think so this is what I do, right? David Goggins talked about this thing.
I love David Goggins. Who's going to carry the boats?
Right. You got to carry boats, right? That's what we say in our group, right? Hey, you got to carry the boats, man. But being the only, when you are the only in a room. So when I go and talk to people in the educational world and they're talking about teenage blacks and Hispanics that are blah, 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 it's like, but you didn't even have no representation in here, but you're the expert on where they're at, right? Exactly. So you have experience of seeing them working there, and then you have the experience of working there. So you have the double. So that's what makes you so much more valuable for this whole thing, is that you have both passions. Passion doesn't pay the bill, like you said, but passion to get your ass up in the morning and work 20-hour days for nothing, because you've been exposed to both sides, right? You got the reasoning side because you worked on it, and then you have the minority side and saying, okay, I want to bring, that's why I call it the Harriet Tubman. I want to bring my people over here too, right?
That's so crazy that you keep referring to Harriet Tubman, because I'm from exactly where she's from.
Really? The Harriet Tubman, man. I'm trying to get it,
Yeah. No, yeah, I think
turn the boat again.
Quick. It just Yeah, you're right. Like, I think passion does definitely wake you up in the morning, and I think, but also too, just like that continuation is also what keeps it, like, that longevity going, to the collaboration, the conversations. Like, you got to be wanting to do this, to wanting to like want to do it for a really long time. And I think that a lot of people, the person who told me that passion doesn't pay the bills, they were like, 100% of nonprofits get started because of passion. 90% of them don't make it to the first 5 years because passion doesn't pay the bills, and it's because people get moved by things.
But I think that's because they get stuck. Nonprofit, you got to keep moving the game, man. It is not the same old pass the bucket for, rubber chicken dinner for funding either.
Exactly.
If you're not strategizing, and it's a business.
It is.
And if you're not strategizing for long-term business success, again, just like that fisherman, right? If I know this season's going to have this and this season's going to have that, and I'm just stuck in this season, I'm not looking at that season or the storm or the,
right.
Then that's just part of the business side.
Oh,
Again, the passionate. And that's why when we talk to them about it, so when you're teaching the kids that, right, at least you're exposing them to something, or your interns, that they're passionate about, so that way they're going to dial into it. And when you find people that you're not pushing them into something that just a job, but you're pushing into something they are passionate about, then they're going to put in the work so that they can elevate themselves up, right? They're buying in for the, if you're a musician, right, and you say, hey, you'd play music. I was listening to Flea on, that show, the Hot Wings, the Hot Ones or
Hot
something.
Ones, yeah.
And he was like, bro, we got to play music in this house all day.
Right.
That's all I love to do.
Right.
So if you say, look, man, you love to do this all day, you would do it. So that's what we're doing, is finding people that are in this industry, for one, right, that love what they're going to be doing, so it's easier to keep them in there, but teaching them the business aspect and the ownership and that sustainability. And that's why you could use a lot of fishing and farming in philosophy when you talk to people. Plant the seed, got to cultivate it, the weeds are going to show up. You have the right person to come in to pull that at the right time. You have somebody that drives it on the truck over here. Like, you have all these moving parts. The farmer, this is my interpretation? It's a strawberry one, okay?
Okay.
This farmer standing in dirt, and it smells like poo because he's got the manure out, right? And he could visualize you having strawberries on your pancakes and strawberry ice cream and all these different strawberry things, right? And he sees it. He sees the harvest. But there's certain seasons and times where people come in to help him at a certain time. He knows when to call in the trucker and the picker, or the person with the herbicide, right? To get it to the manufacturer. And that's what we are, right? You're teaching them to plant the seed.
Oh, yeah.
Those seasons, who to have come in to help you with that. And I think that's an important part of us being sustainable.
Oh, yeah. I want to keep it all in-house. I want to be able to look at all the major sectors of aquaculture and the maritime industry and be like, I got a bunch of people in all these different areas, to where I can call up my own people and say, hey, I've got someone who has an oyster farm over here. You've got a trucking business. Awesome. Like, can we bring this together? You've got a processing plant. Can we bring this together? Because I think, like, once you build that community within, then we can start. I mean, a lot of coastal communities started that way, right? There was one person that kind of started the business, and then he hired everybody else. And please don't fall. Thank you. And and then we kept our own communities going. We didn't have to have outside help or outside people that were just trying to check off a box for us.
That's a whole nother topic. We don't.
Now you don't want to talk about it. Now you don't talk about
all right,
that.
So right, the culture vultures, right? You people come in and just check the boxes and just try to get it all filled in. The reason I said that way, because we could spend probably half hour on this topic alone. That's a whole topic on its own. And I think that's why, again, so collaborative efforts is huge, right? The way I look at it, again, more my terminology, is like we're a fraternity, right?
Yeah.
And you got to come in and you go through, nepotism to some degree, other cultures, you are to practice that, right, and opening doors for one another. And that's what we're doing, is just doing that. And we have our own, there's a guy that I have on our podcast, Uncle Adam, and we talk about, if you're not networking, you're not working. And the part of going inside of your network to find those resources too, right? Instead of outsourcing it, go inside the resource. And that's how you really stay sustainable too. A referral, recommendation, a lead, that all comes from being out in. That's how we got here, right? Somebody said my name. Hey, if you want to have some fire on your stage, you better call Comminty Kevin Cali. And they called. I'm like, how'd you get my number? It's like, because God got here before you did, and you dropped your name in this room.
Right.
And then I seen her fire and her passion, and we connected, and we got their business cards. But you could tell that that's what she does, and that's what we do, and that's what we teach you guys about the importance of networking. But so you have the whole outline. You have your model, you have your vision, you have your reason why you want to do this, because your experiences, and then you're putting all the pieces together by helping other people be part of that, what you're doing. And that's how you really build community and grow, right?
Yeah, no, I think that networking, I've learned, is a skill. It's an art to network. And I need to adopt your way.
I don't know. You have like
the
4 people
bulldozer.
surrounding. Oh yeah, I got a bulldoze.
The bulldozer way. Well, that's also the thing too, is like when I go to these conferences and stuff, like, yeah, there's like a swarm a little bit. So I've got to, try to talk to as many people. But there are people.
Do you have a code word for your team to come get you?
I don't have a team. I don't have a team. I'm traveling by myself.
Like, Kev, they need you over here. Like, if you see somebody got me for longer than 5 minutes, come get me. Be like, hey, so-and-so got a hook in their finger.
No,
like, you got to have a code word for your team. Like, hey, we got to move you along so you don't get pinned in the corner.
No, I'm mostly traveling by myself, other than when we have like our interns and stuff like that. But no, I go before every conference.
You had a group, though. I had to bulldoze because you had a fan club, so I had to bulldoze.
There was a couple people that had like been tracking me down. I mean, you being one of them, but I also track people down too. I see the list of people and I'm like, oh, I need to talk to them, or oh, they're going to be here. And I learned that like that was also a part of it too. It wasn't just me showing up at places and me doing what I need to do and leaving. It was me doing the homework before I got there and knowing who I wanted to talk to before then and making those introductions. Sometimes it only takes a second. Yeah. This only took a second. Yeah. And I was like, you walked away and said, who is this guy?
It's Comminty Kevin.
I was like, who is this guy? And then when I came back, to Santa Barbara, I was like, okay, well, like you had already hit me up, and I was like, well, hey,
I sent you a video. Did I send you a video of me?
You sent, yeah, you did. You did. I said we were emailing, and then all of a sudden I get this text of this video, and you were like, hey, what's up? It's Comminty Kevin. I was like, okay, dude. All right, dude. I see you. So yeah,
her emails kept coming back. She's on the road. Every time we reply, it would be like, I'm out of the office. I'm doing something amazing somewhere else. Well, I'm just gonna text her then. I'm just gonna send her a video.
Yeah,
hey, you gotta be innovative, right? Like, don't be basic.
Don't be basic.
Do we have room for basic?
Don't be basic. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you definitely made an impression. That's why I'm here.
You too. That's why I was like, I gotta meet with her later. It was cool, man. That whole DC experience was great, man. To see how big it is. We're in a place called Ventura County. It's kind of country. We're just outside of LA, where they kind of like it that way. Quiet coastal community too. So I do have to go out and expand and see things different than the block myself.
Right.
So, and I know when I go out to network at a community event, I'll look just at the badge, because you only got an hour too, right? So a strategy, like there's strategies. And when we talk to people, again, this is kind of for our listeners, if you listen to the same metaphor, what it is, it's about networking. It could take a while for that networking event to pay off too, right? Just because you went there and gave out your card, don't mean that partnership can happen a week later. It could take a year or two, or just being seen on the continuous, and your name starts getting floated around through other people because you start building up integrity and a value, and then the name will start speaking for itself. But if you don't show up to start with no team, like you said, with one, and I did the same. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't know. I just knew I had to do something, and I knew that I'm on, God's got me, so I could, I gave up fear, and just went in straight at it. But my personality came. I used to be a fat kid that was poor, so I had to make jokes. What do they call ugly duck syndrome? You heard of that? Yeah. So I had to be like, oh, if I can make you laugh and be, and stuff like that. At least my charming personality will make you not see my obesity or my shortcomings, right? So I brought that up, and then when I was able to channel that and figure out I'm valuable and I'm not inferior, that I was able to really dominate at another level. That's why, like you say, people coming along and saying, hey, Kev, there's more to you than you just being a little, little ragamuffin that they told you were.
Oh, so. Yeah. No, and I think a lot of that, that was like kind of similar for me too. Like, I was that kid that on the report card was like, she talks a lot in class. She's like doing this, and I'm ADHD. I've got, dysgraphia, dyslexia, like all the things. And so there's a lot of people that were like, you're never going to make it in marine biology. Like, you're never
But guess what though? All of those kids like us that they said that for, guess who's running the game now?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Those are the skills I take in now. Like
all the 80s crack babies are up here doing
just like that bull in the china shop, just, and I think that, a lot of that personality, it helps me stand out. Even though I'm the only person that looks like this in the rooms, I don't need a lot to help me stand out, but I'm making a lasting impression.
Well, that look, but also you're bold. You had a boldness that I think is in a disruption. If you're going to be, again, business model and where you're going to go, you got to be disruptive. You can't go with the flow, the old model, and especially in the fishing industry that we're in, the good old boy club, right? It's been done like this whole time.
Ooh.
Right. Okay. Like baseball, right? We had a guy come in and talk about the banana league. Look how they had to modify
Savannah Bananas.
Look how they had to modify it and be disruptive. But look how they're doing, because this old way of you guys doing the traditional by the book stuff, people are getting bored. You know, you got to speed up the game.
Right.
You got to modify and make change, and
Right.
that comes with disruption.
Right.
So if you're bold, got a mission, and you got a little courage, and you get a confidence like the David Goggins, you get in your cookie jar and get another one and another one.
Mm-hmm.
Say it, and then people are like, "Hey, can I be part of your team?
Right?
Hey, you over there with ADHD? Hey, you need a friend? I got it too. You know, I got it too. You know, now you got a whole group of crazies together."
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think I had to learn that my ADHD was a superpower. Actually, you know, I can do a lot in a very short amount of time. I could, you know, I call it my vampire hours, but it's really just I'm an insomniac. Like I just, you know, I just have, you know, a brain that just can work in all these different areas and all these different ways. And, you know, at first I was like, I can't sit and I can't focus and I can't do this. And now I'm like, yeah, no, this is perfect. Like that's why working out in the water was like, and working in aquaculture was actually like really perfect for my brain, because I had to keep everything on like all these firing cylinders, but I also had to find ways to like help my you know, superpower brain move forward. I had
superpower brain. Hear that? That's my
superpower
superpower.
brain.
That's my superpower.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people will try to tell you it's a disability. No,
but again, that's what I'm
telling.
See why we don't use blame and excuse in their
That's
crutches.
Superpower.
Don't let nobody get your brain. Again, some Bob Marley stuff, right? You got to emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Yes.
You know, like there's some things where the mentals, man, are so important, man. Your mental strength, not just mental health, but your mental strength and the things that. That's great, man. She's on fire. See, we're already at the 40-minute mark. We're gonna wrap this up here in a second. Try to catch him a fish.
Yeah.
But you can see the passion. So tell them a little bit more about where they can find you, and you know, and interested, and what, you know, any work projects you got coming in. We got about 5 minutes left. Anything you want to touch on before?
Definitely Minorities in Aquaculture. If you Google it, we're the first and kind of only thing that comes up. Scotty's shaking his head because
Scotty was kind of quick.
Yeah,
so that
means
you're synonymous in this field, though, right? So that's great.
Yeah, no, I would say we're the only nonprofit like ours in aquaculture that's doing what we do globally. And I think that it really tells a testament. So, yeah, Imani Black on all social medias, Minorities in Aquaculture, they kind of go hand in hand. You look up our nonprofit on our website, I'm all there, emails all there. So, yeah, just check us out. We're open to all types of partnerships, all types of collaborations. I'm kind of looking at some like unconventional collaborations. I'm trying to get rental cars.
Where do we fall?
I mean, no, you're conventional. You're conventional.
Right,
You're in the industry.
All right.
I'm talking about like, you know, like rental cars. I'm talking about like sunscreen. I'm talking about
doing
all the things. Yeah. All the things. So
especially right now, a lot of these companies, because they are changing. That is the philosophy that they have too with this new generation coming in, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a good time.
Practical.
That's the way.
Practical partnerships. If I'm going to spend all this money doing we can't do these things for free.
Yeah, and your time.
And your time. All the things. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, no, thanks so much for having me on this and just for having us out. This has been
we know I got a camera, so if you ever need somebody to come out and document some of that stuff, you know, I'll come out and document, and you'll see more collaborative efforts in anything you do in our region, in California, anywhere. Yeah. We can come visit you and see the work that you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Being a part of that. And then, of course, you're always welcome to come on the boat.
We'll have to go fishing in Alaska. Let's do it.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. I'll be going out there.
We just got a check from the bank. I'm sure they don't mind if I go on a collaborative networking event in Alaska.
I'll take you to fish camp. We'll go out there for 3 weeks.
What's the date?
No.
Don't play.
Don't play.
I ain't got no lockdowns right now. I'm free to go, man. It's all business. Sorry, Kevin's not in the office. He's in Alaska.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you, Imani, very much. And you want to send anybody to your crew?
Yeah, we can turn around, say hi to the interns, to my ladies, my traveling ladies.
Hey, everybody.
How is she? Is she cool? Does she?
She's so cool. Working with Imani is goated. There's no one like her.
Here, take that. Yeah, talking to the mic.
First of all, this came out of nowhere for me personally. This is my first summer in the industry, and Imani Black gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. Now, anyone can be an intern, and a lot of times when you hear the term intern, you're going to be getting involved with some paperwork. You're going to be getting involved with some office tasks and activities. But right here, what I'm doing this summer, what she's offered me, is definitely the opportunity of a lifetime. First of all, I've gotten to travel the entire country. From the East Coast to now the West Coast. I've seen it all. Oyster farming, lab work, the fishing industry, the different scales of the oyster business, there's just all kind of wonderful and fruitful things coming from this. And if you're interested in being a part of the industry, there's no better way to get in than being a part of a nonprofit and volunteering your time and getting to work with people who are truly just like gumptious and ambitious and who are caring and involved. And I'm speechless. That's what that is. I'm speechless because there's just too many wonderful things to talk about in this industry and being a part of Minorities in Aquaculture. And I didn't expect this, but I'm very happy that I have gotten to do it. And I'll be able to tell my kids and my grandkids one day far into the future about the wonderful things that I saw in the maritime industry and in the blue economy. And everyone should get in on it and be a part of it. Not only does this change your perspective on how you're consuming seafood, but it also changes your perspective overall on how you're being sustainable in your own life and how you're being more of a steward to your farmers.
Plug that caviar, girl. Plug that caviar business. Plug that caviar business. Come on, this is the time. It's mogul what?
It's mogul moody.
Okay, caviar what? Caviar from where?
Caviar from the south.
From the south, honey.
Imported, and we're gonna get it on. It's gonna be a wholesale business. Everyone's gonna be buying in because we're not only selling caviar, we're selling a vision,
an experience,
one of a kind brand, one of a kind marketing. We're storytelling out here. We're building a community. It doesn't get much better, let me tell you.
See, now you're driving a boat, man.
And now I'm the captain. I'm the captain. Everyone, fishing is good. Captaining is good. It's all good. It's all great. Get in where you fit in.
Or make room if you don't.
Or make room if you don't.
There you go. There you go. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
We're not done yet. So we're recording. But yeah, great. That was great right there. That's exactly what one of our interns said the other day, because that's part of it. You're doing a project-based learning versus intern, where they're just doing vacuuming and putting away some filing. You're actually leaving them with transferable skills. They're part of the fight, and you let them see the big picture, man, and that's important.
Oh yeah, all of our internships are customized and individualized and intentional for each intern. So even if we've had other South Carolina interns, but Barrett's internship is different than all the other South Carolina interns that we've had, all the other communications interns that we had. Because I want it to be something that it's not just another thing, another part of their resume, but it's something that actually is going to get them to the next step of their resume. So
you building portfolios, man. Resume is something, you building portfolios. All right. Before we leave, I always have like a motivational moment. Anything you want to tell the listeners and the viewers?
I think, when someone tells you can't do it, show them that you can, and show yourself that you can. I think that's also most important. Like, forget everybody else and what they tell you. If you have a vision, if you have a passion for something, if you can visually see it up here, then that is the universe, that is God telling you that is possible, and that's possible for you. I've had a lot of visions up here, that a lot of ideas, and they're gonna happen. They've all come to fruition so far. So if you can visualize it, then it's possible to do it. So do it scared, do it unorganized, do it messy, do it
by yourself.
Do it by yourself. Do it. The community will come. If you build it, it will come. So absolutely,
just get started. All right, so go ahead, go after it. That's it. I got nothing to say. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Community Kev.
That's a wrap.
Let's go. To learn more about Real Guppy Outdoors, please visit www.communitykevin.com. Brought to you by Aftco Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.